Hey y'all, so today we're going to talk about the new Smith Wesson CSX. Kind of got unleashed onto the world a few days ago, and a lot of people talking about it. Figured I'd give my thoughts on what I think about it. So, CSX, rumored to mean Chief Special X. I think they're kind of going off the old 38 snubbies that Smith has, and the fact they used to be called the Chief Special, and of course you got companies like Glock and stuff adding X to old model numbers to, I guess, make them new and cool. I don't know if that's actually what it means, but moving on. It would, I guess it'd be kind of cool if it did, because, you know, I'm a fan of the old snubbies. But anyway, so basically it's a 1911 style Smith & Wesson modern firearm. Again, not a 1911, but kind of a lot of features that make you think 1911. So, things I like about it, well, I really like that straight pull trigger. Again, as someone that shoots 1911s quite well, having another gun with a straight pull trigger really shoots nice, would be great. I like that the frame is aluminum and not polymer. Something that always, I always look at polymer guns as kind of basically like not disposable, but like, you know, they have a life expectancy, because obviously polymers and plastics eventually, you know, they dry up, they wear out, and they break and crack. You know, again, I realize new polymers are not the, you know, cheap, flimsy plastic from 30 years ago, but I just like having all metal parts for the main parts of the gun, knowing that, you know, as long as you take care of it and it doesn't rust, you don't beat it up, you pretty much have it forever. So I like that they did an aluminum frame over polymer. From what I've seen, I really like the big slide serrations, like in both front and back. You know, something I've noticed with racking some of the smaller guns, and this is like I think it's like a 3.125 inch barrel, so it's generally a smaller gun. You know, I like having those slide serrations on there because it's nice to, you know, it's nice to not have to feel like you're really like grabbing and having to pull. And you know, I've had smaller guns that are really hard to rack, so it's nice to see the big slide serrations. Also, speaking of the aluminum frame, you know, the slide is steel and the barrel is steel, but the frame is aluminum. I like the fact that it's smooth. Looking at how they've got the texture in the polymer pieces of the frame that are interchangeable for different back straps, I like that the rest of the frame is kind of smooth, because something I've noticed is, especially with some gun companies, they think that they can't really have any smooth surfaces, and everything ends up being kind of needing a, you know, a texture or whatever, whereas with this, it's just smooth and it's a little bit classy. Unfortunately, that's kind of where me liking the gun kind of ends. You know, I mentioned I started out with the straight pull trigger. Well, that straight pull trigger, from what I've heard, is almost 8 pounds, sometimes more. Most Colts I know are much less than that and are much smoother than that. So at an 8-pound trigger, I mean, what's the point of having single action if it's a heavy trigger? Also, they've got the trigger safety, which doesn't completely throw me off. But again, like, you've already got, you know, your manual safety on the side of the gun, because, you know, it's basically designed to be carried cocked and locked, where with having that, I mean, again, it's not the end of the world, but I can't help but wonder if maybe that's part of the reason why the trigger is so heavy. So, you know, I'm not really big a fan of that. Basically the fact that they tried to make a 1911, but they didn't make a 1911, like, I don't know. At the end of the day, like, I like 1911s because I like 1911s. There's just something about, you know, the history of that gun that makes it, you know, it speaks to me, and I'm like, okay, that's something I really like, because one, you know, I shoot it well, but two, you know, again, it's definitely a very American gun. This, while it's got some of the features of a 1911, is not a 1911. Like, you know, and you can get smaller 1911s. I believe capacity is either 10+1 and then 12+1 with the extended mags. That's not crazy. You know, you got to think we've got, you know, like Glock 43Xs and stuff with 15-round mags, and then you've got, you know, your little pocket 9mm, your you know, SIG 365. You know, it's about the same capacity. Like, you can get some pretty good capacity out of these little pocket 9mm. And 10+1, 12+1, that's, you know, for the size of the gun, like, that's good, but that's not crazy. So, like, you know, you're having a gun that's like that, right? You know, basically set up, you know, single action only, carry cocked and locked, like a 1911. and you've got some of the features of a 1911, but you really don't have anything that makes it better than a 1911. You know, for instance, no RMR cut. You know, obviously this gun is basically set up for concealed carry. You know, it's not really, I mean, I guess it could be a range gun, could be a home defense gun, could be any one of those things. But, you know, a home defense gun, I would wonder why you wouldn't just go bigger. And a range gun, you know, again, you would want to go bigger, you know, whatever. So, you know, a lot of people are getting into red dots on concealed carry guns. You know, from what I've seen, it basically you can shoot a lot smoother with a red dot once you practice, and a lot of people are moving towards that. So having the option for RMR cut would be nice. Like I said, you know, overall, I think it's a neat idea. It's not for me. I guess the final big reason why I'm not a big fan of it is, well, it's a Smith & Wesson. Look, you know what? The Smith & Wesson Volt I highly praise, because I think they were an awesome company. I've had a lot of Smith & Wesson products brand new out of the box that have had factory defects and had to go back. So, like, I really am not a big fan of buying Smith & Wesson, and I can't help but wonder, you know, the more I hear about people having issues with their quality control, it's just not something that really interests me, because, you know, I don't want to take the risk that it's something that they're screwed up in it and I have to send it back and, you know, wait a couple months for them to send it back to me. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I know a lot of people are kind of praising this, but for me, it's just kind of a pass. Like, it's a neat idea, but at the end of the day, if I wanted to get a 1911 style gun that size to carry, I'd probably just go get a 1911 gun that size to carry. But that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. Is it something you're really into? You know, am I completely wrong? Is it really cool? But let me know down below, and have a good day.